When I was like 8 to 9 living in my old house, I hands down had one of the most creepiest and unexplainable situations happen to me. It was around 9 to 10 p.m. I had just been tucked into bed and my mom left the room. When she left, she didn't close the door all the way because we had a light in the hallway that we left open, and I was a bit of an anxious sleeper, so I felt comfort in having a bit of light shine through. As she left, I could still hear her walking around the hallway, or so I thought it was her. I screamed out to her asking for her to get me a pillow. I heard the footsteps enter my mom's room, which was right next to mine. I know for a fact I heard someone walking because the floor would creak loudly anytime anyone walked on them. The footsteps then came back out of my mom's room, except she wasn't answering me nor coming in. I was confused and I kept asking her what was up. A shadow of a silhouette stopped right in front of my room. I could see it due to the light reflecting from the hallway's light and off of my closet, which was right by my room's door. Just as I was about to get up from my bed and open the door, I suddenly started to hear whispering from the corners of my room. It started in one corner and then it bounced to others, and every time it did that, it sounded like multiple voices were joining in. And what throws me off even more every time I think about this is that they weren't speaking anything that I could understand. It sounded almost like they were frantically whispering pure gibberish. I froze in fear for a couple of seconds, then without thinking I quickly got the F up and ran out of the room, quickly running down the stairs to where I met my parents downstairs talking. My dad could tell I was extremely panicked. My mom seemed more pissed that I was out of bed, and I asked her if it was her upstairs that whole time, and she told me no, and that she'd gone downstairs immediately after leaving my room. I explained to them what I'd experienced. My dad tried comforting me while my mother wasn't too bothered. I stayed downstairs with them the whole time until I finally fell asleep and my dad carried me back to my room. Every single time I try to tell people this story, I feel like I come across as some crazy schizo. Who knows? It could have been a hallucination, but I don't know why my 8 to 9-year-old self would have a random hallucination one night and then never again for the rest of my life. I've decided to post this story in hopes that maybe somebody has a similar experience, or maybe even a couple theories or explanations. I'd also like to add that growing up in that house, I'd always had the worst vibe every time I was in it. Even now, every time I think about it, I feel grossed out, or anytime I ever dream about that house, it's always something bad or off.